Anthony Ferraro, Dan Mancina. Two blind guys collide to bring you Four Bad Eyes Podcast.
Welcome back to Four Bad Eyes Podcast. I'm Anthony Ferraro.
Dan Mancina, and today we have a special guest.
Very special guest. You might know him as the world's
strongest blind man. That shouldn't have been that hard.
That was harder than saying his last name, which is Schwerbrock.
Schwerbrock.
Evan Charles Schwerbrock. He's got his master's in kinesiology, and then
certified strength and conditioning coach.
So
he's jacked.
He's jacked, and he's blind. So we got 6 bad eyes today. Evan, tell us everything you want to plug real quick in the beginning, and then we'll get
Sure. Well, thank you guys for having me. Really appreciate it. I'm also the owner of Cane and Able Fitness, spelled C-A-N-E and A-B-L-E, and I try to make sure that fitness is more accessible for those of us with visual impairments. So that's why I call it that. Even though we have a cane, we're still able to do stuff, even though a lot of the world doesn't necessarily always think so. And we have social media with YouTube and Instagram for long and short form content. .com is kind of your place to go for remote coaching, 50-something articles, made more accessible for and applicable for those of us with visual impairments. And yeah, always trying to help spread the word. So I go around doing seminars and getting to help out our community.
Dude, that's amazing. So you're creating like blind friendly, I guess, is it explanations or blind friendly lifts, better things to do if you're blind in the gym? Like, how does that work?
A bit of both. I try to make some different stuff more accessible for us. We run into a lot of times in the blind community, we haven't been educated as much, especially in particular ways that are more necessary for us. It can be a very visual world, especially with, YouTube exercise explanations, things like that. So I do a different series, like a muscle function series, where I describe where certain muscles are on the body exactly, like your biceps are on the front of your upper arm, and they work to close or flex the elbow, and that is going to help explain things a little bit more. And I talk about different exercises that actually work the biceps and different things like that for different muscle groups. That's how I kind of try to make things more accessible. And then I'll also write different workouts or highlight different tweaks to different exercises so that people are able to know what they should do and also be a little bit more efficient in the gym. We don't need people doing a giant circuit and trying to just work on their O&M all over the gym. Instead, if we do things a little bit more simply in ways that make sense for us, so we're able to get the best workout we can while doing it safe and effectively, that's always my goal.
So it's funny you say that, because I love fitness also. I'm big in the fitness world. When I work out, I've learned to bring all the things I'm going to do for that circuit or watt or whatever it is and have them close by, like whether it's the assault bike with a sandbag right next to it and then my kettlebell in front of that, so I know where everything is. I'm not running around the gym feeling like
you're working on your own M.
Yeah, like I'm working on my own M. That's perfectly put.
I like the explanation of the muscle groups too, because that can be missed, especially someone just coming into the gym being like, what are my... You name the muscle group.
Oh yeah, and I kind of realized I need to start doing that because and I had some people where they're just like, I had them doing squats. This was some young adults at a blind camp that I was at, and I was like, "Where's that hurt?" They're like, "Oh, my hamstrings," and I was like, okay, point to where, and they were like with their quads, and I was like, oh, they don't even know which is which. So we just got to be good about being patient and clarifying that in better terms. And I also love. And I get way too into the weeds with this of like tactily teaching different exercises. And I have a whole system where we're able to do that, where we think about extrinsic tactile cues of what you should feel like, and you can use the outside environment in order to like have a band around your knees to shove your knees in, and then turn that into like, okay, now you feel how you have to actually root yourself in your foot and drive your knees out and all that stuff and feel the outside of your hips working. And that turns into a tactile intrinsic cue. So we're able to feel what the exercise should feel like when we're doing it properly. And then you go, okay, when you need to do that, I'm going to say knees out. So we turned it into audibles. So instead of it being this visual medium of just like, I'm going to do it and you just do what I'm doing, which doesn't work for us blind people, we kind of try to structure those things and make it make sense for our community.
Yeah,
I
that's
can't
sweet.
tell you how many times I think I'm doing a workout right, and then someone comes and corrects me. It is so visual how it's
Mhm.
taught, which is really interesting.
Yeah, I've
because-
seen. I think a few like yoga, blind accessible yoga programs and stuff, but I've never seen until you with the full actually getting in the gym and doing serious, circuits and stuff.
Yeah, I'm trying to kind of, I'm also like my moniker is the blind strength coach. So I'm trying to make sure that we take kind of strength conditioning principles and make it work for all of us by, again, using those kind of more accessible tools.
Yes.
How did you get into fitness? Where did this all start?
Well, who's sponsored by Adidas? All right,
Yeah.
so I got it. You guys talking about that sponsorship and everything, it gave me flashbacks. I was thinking about like my before picture is basically I was at a Chicago Fire game and I had like a medium Adidas shirt and like medium sweatpants. I had to wear shorts underneath it or they would have fallen off me. And I was just like this tiny little skinny rail of just these small clothes still just draped on me. It was all Adidas and it was by the Adidas truck at Chicago Fire game and everything. So I hear Adidas and I get flashbacks to being 6'3" and 140 pounds and just like skin and bones.
Oh,
So
wow. You were that tall,
yeah,
too?
yeah. So, I mean, you guys
Dang,
being Harry
man.
Potter fans, I look like Harry Potter, but different color hair. Like I dressed up as him for Halloween one year, and it took my glasses were already broken from like being bullied and stuff. I literally just needed a hat and a wand, and I was good to go. So I was just so small and like little nerdy kid. And then I had a big growth spurt, which just stretched me out even more. And I realized like I need to get into weightlifting and just put some meat on my bones. So I got really into that. And again, I'm very nerdy and love reading and all that stuff. And I kind of just decided to put my intellect into learning about training and stuff. And eventually, between that and the farm work, it all kicked in and was able to get a little bit bigger and stronger.
So what are you sitting at right
I'm
now?
255 right now.
Damn.
That's what's up.
Yeah, finally.
Is the finally is the world's strongest man a self-proclaimed title? Did you?
So
was there an actual?
we kind of suspected it based off of everybody that we had been able to find. But
Hey.
yeah,
Hey.
Okay.
I wasn't invited to this. I got a bone to
hey,
pick
well,
with you.
official Strongman games. It's in Dallas this year. I had to go to England in order to prove this
Oh.
last year, but there's the Adaptive Strength World Championships. And it's actually sponsored by Magnus Magnuson, the 4-time world's strongest man. So that was in Birmingham, England last November.
Wait, and these were adaptive, you
Yeah,
said?
so I compete in strongman where you have to like lift the stones and I had to carry multiple cars on my back last year and stuff like that. And so that's the world's strongest whatever title. So
Are we talking like a Prius or like a Lincoln?
I think both
Like,
of
what
them were
kind of- what kind of
Volkswagens this year.
VWs. Damn, those are heavy,
Yeah.
dude.
That's sick.
Yeah, I lift like 4 of those a week.
So
but-
you earned it, dude. That's
Yeah.
No, I'm
amazing.
just breaking your balls, dude. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
And I did want to wait. I don't not the most braggadocious, but I wanted to wait until I was the highest ranked blind individual. We got that this year, and hoping to keep winning some stuff the rest of the year.
That's cool.
Congratulations, man.
That's
That's a really big.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
When's the next one? You said it was in the
Yeah,
US?
it's going to be in Dallas in November. I'm also doing an able body just against normal big guys in North Carolina in August, and I'm going to do my first grip competition in July as well.
What does that consist of?
Okay, that's just lifting weird junk that's hard to hold on to. Basically, they have these really there's these like legendary dumbbells. There's one called the Thomas Inch dumbbell that's like 172 pounds, and the handle is as thick as a Coke can, and it's like those cliche globe dumbbells. So there's going to be like different weights of those that you have to like do a farmer carry with. I'm trying to remember the other events right now. There's like those grippers you have to
Maybe swings
close. All kind. I think a pinch bar that's just like a square bar, so you can only pinch, kind of like a plate pinch or something, but a little bit thicker, and you go for max weight on that. Yeah, just different wonky, weird grip events.
Grip events. Sick.
Wow.
Dang, where's that?
That one is in North or South Carolina as well.
How do
Close to
you
home.
qualify for this one in November?
Anthony wants in.
Well, wait.
I just want.
Yeah, so they're still working on that since it's become so we did an adaptive showcase last year to go to what's called official Strongman games. There was 4 of us from the US who showed up in order to show what adaptive athletes can do. And that's at the world's strongest. Everybody, I like to say everybody but the big fat guys. Like the world's strongest man that's on TV and stuff, it's everybody else. The world's strongest woman of any weight class, the guys at 105 kilos and below. There's masters, there's teens, juniors, and now the adaptive class can be part of it because we went and did a showcase there last year. So we're going to be on a bigger stage now. So because of that big shift in us being able to take disabled strongman up a level and get some more exposure and everything, they're still kind of figuring out that. But I mean, if you're interested, I can let you know.
No, I don't think I'm cut for that.
No, actually,
not cut for
you're in New Jersey. Atlantic City has America's strongest athlete with disabilities in October.
Okay,
Oh.
that could be
Yeah.
interesting. See, I don't belong in something like that. I'm a mediocre. I do like CrossFit and stuff. It's probably frowned upon in the
No, that's how a lot of
weightlifting
people get into
world.
strongman. That's actually how I got into strongman as well. I was like, I'm gonna be Rich Froning, and I'm like, I am not built to be Rich Froning. I get beat up with 3 workouts a day and stuff. I was like, I like deadlifting and lifting things for less than 60 seconds, so that's why I switched over.
Yeah, I'm out here doing like Murph and stuff like an idiot.
Oh, that's admirable and good for you. I'm glad somebody's doing it.
No, it's not fun.
That's cool. You're helping really spearhead this and get it, and like you said, working your way up to the bigger stages.
It sounds very parallel to like what's happening in skateboarding almost.
Except you guys are moving
way
dude.
quicker.
That's
Have
awesome.
you thought about going into like the Paralympics for powerlifting or no interest?
Waiting on an email response about that. We'll say. I've reached out regarding goal ball. Since I'm a big dude and I'm pretty explosive and stuff like that. And I can cover a lot of ground, powerlifting, all these things. I'm just still waiting on some callbacks.
Yeah.
Dude, you would smack down in goal ball. That would be. You're long too, so you could cover like half.
Oh, my
across the court.
wingspan is like
Yeah.
6'8". Yeah, I know. If I got this much arms, I got to do something with them. I think could hopefully get us some medals. Have you guys played?
Yeah,
Did you
dude.
grow up in South Carolina? Oh, sorry.
Oh, what were you saying?
I've never played goal ball. Anthony's played.
I've played goal ball. Yeah, I had fun when I was a kid, but then I kind of fell out of it. But goal ball is fun. It's intense. It hurts. Like it actually hurts.
I don't know why. That makes it more enticing for me. They're like, you might break your nose. I'm like, okay, cool. Like it's just somehow a contact sport still.
How old are you?
32.
Sweet.
And then you grew up your whole life in South
No,
Carolina?
I'm actually here less than a year now. So technically we're at Fort Jackson. I married an Army girl, so we get to go wherever the Army tells us. But I'm originally from the middle of nowhere in Illinois.
Cool.
Did you bag a little sighty?
Oh, what?
You bag yourself a little
Sighty?
sighty?
Your girl is
Oh,
excited.
sorry. Yeah, I got me a chauffeur for sure.
Nice.
Oh yeah, dude. Chauffeur through life. Best
Yep.
friend.
Behind every great blind man is a sighted
It's a
woman.
sighted
I know
woman.
we need the help. I'm actually wearing a polo. She's like, you need to have nicer gym clothes, and we're gonna get you some stuff. So this polo's maiden journey actually, because she's like, you need to up your clothes game a little bit. I was like, just order some stuff and I'll wear it, I guess. So
Yeah.
I know. I get yelled at for wearing the same 5 shirts in a like. I have probably 50 T-shirts, and I always cycle through the same 5
yeah.
somehow.
Do you like get holes in them and everything too? And you're like, I don't care. I still like it.
I have workout clothes. I haven't upgraded my workout clothes wardrobe since high school, which was over 10 years ago. And I have like holes in my shirts. I have Lululemon pants from like 12 years ago.
Lulu's out, dude. There's a new one.
What, Gymshark?
No, Gymshark's good. I can't remember the name.
Oh,
of
the
it.
new Lulu.
There's a
new
new one that but Heather's sister's all. I can't remember the name of it.
Nah, dude.
But yeah,
Lulu
no.
games.
That's how all my clothes. I got stains and everything, whether it's workout or not.
I just wear tie-dye.
Tank top, dude. You tank top guy?
No, I think
Are you?
I think I got
let me
one.
guess. Are you a cutoff?
And it was given to me as well. Yeah. I just
Do you work out in cutoffs?
No, I got one sleeveless shirt that I'll wear sometimes, and that's about it. I pretty much just got like competition shirts. It's just like from the past 7 years of competing in Strongman, just like what shirt they gave me. I'm just like, that's clearly a lifting shirt. Then I'll just keep wearing that all the time.
Dude, I'm so vain. Like when I'm in shape and like jacked like you are, I would just have my shirt off all the time. I wouldn't give a fuck, dude. I'd be like, yeah.
Are you any sponsors coming yet?
No, that'd be nice.
Is it a big? I'm assuming it's a pretty big sponsor world, right? Strongman.
It's getting there, but especially with adaptive making its way in, Strongman is still kind of a niche sport.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm like, man, like clothes sponsors or something like that, or to be able to be with a company to help make a broader reach and help out the blind community more, and help with like seminar trips abroad and things like that would be huge. But then also, I say this probably once a month. I'm like, honey, we need like a meat sponsor. If I could just have some butcher shop that would support us, I would be like, I made it. We're good.
Omaha Steaks, yo, hook this man up.
No, you need to start hunting, dude.
I used to.
You ever hunt? You're from Illinois. You got big bucks.
I know.
Out there, dude.
I did used to bow hunt. That's probably one of the big things I miss the most.
Wait, get me back. You grew up in this small town in Illinois, right? How far from Chicago?
Like 3 hours.
And are you born?
What's the town?
It's called Kewanee.
Kiwani. Is that Native American?
Yeah, I mean prairie chicken, because when they were building the train tracks through, there was a bunch of prairie chickens. And then we're also the hog capital of the world, because we used to have the most pigs per person. So they still have hog days there, everything.
You ever go hog tying?
No. So they brag about how many pigs, and I'm out in the country there, and I'm like, I can't think of any of our neighbors that got pigs. Yeah, but they still celebrate. So nope, never got into hog tying.
Well, you gotta get back into hunting, dude. That's all the.
Well, I know. I just couldn't kill anything mercifully, and that's my whole point is like being able to. I got one time before I was visually impaired, and it was like super intense hunt, a ton of adrenaline. I made the perfect shot. The deer was dead within 10 seconds, and I was like, man, I think I like hit my peak. And a year later, I was blind. So I don't know. I think I got my good shot.
Well, if you have a partner, I've been shooting compound bow with my buddies. And he literally just stands behind me and lines me up.
He's your aimer, like
he aims through my peep sight. But I've killed deer with a rifle with the same method.
Really?
Legitimately, dead on 250 yards. I dropped a deer.
That's crazy.
So like, you can do it, but you just need that. The hard part is getting that partner that they got to put in as much time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can hear the Army gun range from my office, so I can just walk that direction and be like, hey, who's going to help me learn how to shoot, and just make some friends.
Sure they would. Yes, dude. Because, I mean, that's to talk about free meat, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I miss living in Alaska where like you'd have friends who just be like, hey, we got some bear, we got some moose, you want some? And salmon is fresh and all these really cool meats up there.
How long were you out there for?
Probably 6 months. I moved up there to be a strength coach for a little bit.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
Where in Alaska?
Fairbanks in the interior. Yeah.
So okay. This
is before you and the lady?
It's how we met, actually. Yeah, she was attached to the battalion. So I wound up getting discriminated against because of my visual impairment. And we had to go through all the EEOC process. And, so it's kind of stranded in Alaska for a bit. But the perks were then I was able to spend time with her and we hit it off and here we are.
Yeah.
That's
cool.
Yep, all worked out.
Nice, dude. Dang, is she a lifer, military?
No, probably not. It's not treated her too well, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Is it generational? Like, is it in her family military?
Yeah, her father was in the Navy, so they get in fun little Army versus Navy fights.
Yeah.
Wait, so you say before you were visually impaired, were you not born visually impaired
No, when
then?
I was 22, a little over 10 years ago, I have Leber's hereditary optic neuropathy. It was November 2014. I thought my contacts were just bad, and then a couple of fun instances that told me something was off with my eyes, and one death ride in my truck where I barely made it home. I was able to get to the eye doctor, and they take a picture of my nerves, and like, oh, those are shot. A former Army doc, and this like guy with a brilliant mustache and who was always very gruff was almost crying, and I was like, yep, figured it out. It's got to be the thing that could have popped up genetically
Mm.
with me. But we were always kind of told, you guys will be fine. You're too young and you're not like abusing drugs and alcohol. That's what makes it happen. And it will only happen in like your 40s. And then it happened at 22. And within 2 weeks, it went as far as it was going to go, and had to figure things out from there.
Wait, why do they tell everyone this? Why do they
Wait,
tell?
that's your condition, right, Anthony?
I have Leber's congenital amaurosis.
Oh, it's
so
different.
it's different. It's a version of Leber's. Is that why you hit me? Because I drank and did drugs
Yeah,
when I was younger, you scumbag? Hey, but we're over here. You're telling your story. When you say, "Oh, you don't abuse drugs or alcohol," Dan just hits me like, "Yeah, you degenerate kid when
You've
you
been
were
blind
growing
since
up,
you were a
dude."
little kid,
That's
dude.
why you went blind. Damn, dude. But this is I got a bone to pick with these doctors. Because why are you telling all these blind kids that, "Oh, don't worry, it won't affect you till you're super old"? They said the same thing to Dan, same thing to
Yeah.
Justin, like. It's crazy to me that these doctors will just like shoo it away.
Yeah.
And it's like, instead of being like, no, you should prepare for this, and like you should get maybe a VRT education, or like a braille education, whatever it is, like the skills to set you up for losing your
Yeah, and
sight.
with LH1 at the time, it was like super expensive to test you genetically, and then it was still a coin flip if you had the gene, if it was going to manifest or not. So our uncle had developed it, and it was almost like a cautionary tale. It was almost just like the adults were kind of like, he didn't live the cleanest life, and like just make sure you're doing that. But then I went into like the neural ophthalmologist, and he's like, you're like the healthiest person we've ever had here. And then there was like the intern who
Better eat your
like grabbed my
vegetables,
protein shake. And he's like, "Yeah, you shouldn't have so much B12. That's bad for you." I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's what did it." Like it's crazy. Like you were fascinated with my eyes and my rare condition, and now you're just like, "Oh, there's too much B12 in a protein shake." Like so, yeah, it's crazy when they don't really know what's going on. They're still just gonna throw stuff at you.
Yeah.
They're running.
Well, I bet Anthony was the same. I was always the youngest one, and those, not the eye doctor, but the actual, specialist for
Mhm.
blindness.
Oh yeah, I
You
remember
walk
being there
in,
when I was-
everyone's like 70 plus.
yeah,
I'm
I
like-
was playing with children toys.
Yeah, I was
and
like
the-
14, and I was like, "This is crazy. Everyone's old in here."
My earliest memories, some of them are at the eye specialist.
Yeah. Were you military too?
Nope.
No.
I had just graduated
So
with
the
my
running joke-
bachelor's in exercise science, and then I was having a gap year where I was working multiple different jobs in the fitness industry. So I had to do my best to fake my way through those until I had gotten into a grad school. Once the
Yeah.
blindness kicked in really quickly. I'm sure the people in the small town, I mean, there was all kinds of rumors going around about what happened and this and that. And, oh, he's not actually blind. He's a liar. He doesn't use a cane. He's in the gym still, things like that. And then, yeah, I was just kind of biding my time to get off to grad school and keep rolling.
So you were like me, mid school, lost a lot of vision, and had to pretty much relearn they're all about accessibility and books.
Oh
and
yeah,
all that.
I was a visual learner too. I would just like read the chapter summary in the
Yeah.
back and take a test and be good to go. And yeah, then having to learn how to audibly listen to things and eventually speed things up, and it was a big adventure in grad school for sure.
Were they helpful at your school? Did they have a good program, accessibility?
If you knew how to
program?
ask for help and advocate for yourself, but I was still within a year of developing. I was still like learning how to use a cane, which I didn't get any O&M for like my first 2-3 years. And then I had a professor my first week actually sit me down and say, "You can't do this. you need to go to this special school in Oregon. I think that'd be better for you, but you're not cut out for this. So that's when I kind of just like, nope, we're gonna figure it out
Damn.
then. Like, screw you, we're gonna do this thing.
Yeah, that self-advocacy is like the biggest thing in college for sure.
That makes me so grateful that that was like the number one thing my mom hammered into me growing up because I was blind my whole life. So the advocating for yourself was like the biggest
Mhm.
thing. And you're just reassuring me that that was.
Yeah, that professor, like, no, you couldn't do this, but I'm gonna do this.
Exactly. And
Yeah, way to
well,
go.
and that's a big reason I love us blind people getting into the gym or becoming more fit is you get to build that confidence as well, and you're much more willing to advocate for yourself and get those endorphins and just understand how worthy you are and how capable you are, and then you get to leverage that in the rest of your life as well.
That is so true because when I'm not working out, I'm afraid to talk to anybody. And when I'm like in shape, my confidence is almost tied too much to like me being in shape. But like you are more willing to take those risks to like, talk to someone you might not have or like have the confidence to
Mhm.
do those things. Do you find the fitness kind of really helped you change your mindset with the blindness?
I think it served as therapy for a while. There was
I think it still
Oh,
does.
absolutely, absolutely. I get grumpy if I don't get my workouts in, you know. But then also during grad school,
Yeah.
that was a huge transition time. I got my first cane because I was tripping over sidewalks and stuff in the big city of Chicago, and dealing with professors telling me to leave and stuff like that. It's like if I get one win a day with my workout, and I learn to like ride that wave and that like that positive momentum, that's really what saw me through those first couple months, and then it was my saving grace the rest of the time as well.
Yeah, dude. Who gave you your first cane?
So I was walking down Taylor Street in Little Italy in Chicago, and I was living with my sister, and we were walking, and I tripped over yet another one of these stairwells that just jut out of nowhere and make no sense how much they stick
Oh
out in the
Yeah.
sidewalk, and I kept not being able to tell, and almost face planted for the half dozenth time that walk alone. And she goes, "Evan, you need a cane." And I was like, nah, I really don't want to do that. Like I'm still coming to terms
Baby
of blah, blah, blah.
steps.
She's
Yeah.
like, the Chicago Lighthouse for the Blind is 2 blocks away from us right now. We're going there right now and getting you a cane.
Yep.
And usually I'm really stubborn, but
wow.
there was just this tone in her voice. She's like, this is happening. So we bought a cane, and I started using it. I was not classically trained whatsoever, but that changed everything for me.
Yeah.
It was so positive for me. So that was actually how I got it. It was very forced.
That's amazing.
Did you ever do O&M training after that?
Yeah, like a year
later?
and a half. It was like my last semester of grad school. They're like, "Hey, do you want O&M training?" And I was like, "What is that?" They're like, "Where you get taught how to like get around and use your cane properly and stuff." And I was like, "That's the thing." That would have been nice. Yeah. Yeah. So I started that, and I got like 2 lessons. And then when I moved to Peoria, Illinois, and was job hunting and learning how to get around the system and everything like that, I actually met and was connected with an O&M who was helping me navigate things. And she wound up becoming a really good friend. She wound up being a professor at NIU, and now we actually work professionally together. So, yeah, I get to do a lot of O&M stuff now.
Dude, I don't know about you, but my O&M training was huge, man. I mean, what a world change in just confidence and all that and mobility.
Absolutely. And I don't know about you guys, but with O&M training, it almost enables you to do more exercise and like opens up the world way more for you too. Because if you're going to walk around independently, you got to be fit enough to do that. And then vice versa, like you get to walk around independently and build up your endurance. So we're starting to produce some more content about how exercise and O&M are so interlinked, and you're able to like practice your O&M more if you're in better shape, and you're able to do like if you can do O&M and like get yourself to the gym or to a local track, something like that, then you're able to maximize your fitness. So I think those are like really symbiotically linked in a cool way.
Yeah, I think about, falls are a big thing for the elderly
Mhm.
community, right?
Oh yeah.
Like a fall can, I forget there's percentages of, over the age of X, if you fall, you can deteriorate and die like pretty rapidly at a certain age. So I wonder, as a blind person, we trip over more things, so we have more
Oh
we
my
have we have a lot more
Yeah.
experience, right, of correcting
Yeah.
these falls. So I wonder if we're gonna be better off when we're really old. or worse off.
I thought you were going the other way where we're just slowly withering away because we're falling all the time.
No, because we can correct that. We can save
Yeah.
ourselves. Right? We can, really perfect in that,
Yeah.
fast muscle.
Yeah. But then,
We have fast
But the-
muscle twitches.
But I
yes.
think it balances itself out because we're older, we might be better at it, but we're gonna trip more. So I think we're gonna just level right.
well, yeah, and then there's that, and then like you guys said, like a bunch of medical appointments to see specialists and stuff. It's like a bunch of old people. I remember the in Central Illinois with the like Society for the Blind there, it was mostly older people, and a lot of them had developed their eye diseases later in life too. So it's also like this crazy combination of when you developed it, how old you are, if you were in shape beforehand or not. I actually produced some online programs, and one of them is called Upright, and it's a fall prevention program. And that was because I really thought the older population, especially because once you fall, you break a hip, something, it's like you're kind of circling a drain of life, which is really sad. And
Yeah.
like the older population of the blind community is super underserved when it comes to physical fitness. So I made a program that is able to help serve that population because, like you said, that's a big problem.
Nice. Yeah, huge. What was I gonna say? Oh, so your first training was with the Lighthouse in Chicago?
I think it was with Second
Your
Sense.
O&M?
It was an O&M named Rachel there. Yeah, but my first cane was from the Chicago Lighthouse since that was literally 2 blocks from where we
Oh,
live.
but the training wasn't from them. Okay.
Nope, we're just like,
Yeah,
hey,
so
we're
I
here
didn't
for
know
a
that.
cane, and they're like, okay, let's find you a nice tall one, and we did that, and I tapped my way out, and there we go.
Just
Dude,
self-taught.
shout
your
out
way.
to your sister.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
pushed you over.
Again,
Yeah.
I can be annoyingly stubborn.
She changed your life.
Oh yeah,
right there.
and it's made a difference. Like whenever I get a chance to talk about my first cane, I talk about that because I run into in my work a lot of young adults who are like, oh, I don't want to, blah blah blah, or even older people. I had one lady who I was training. Actually, she's from Jersey too. Training her remotely, and she's just like, I just get so uncomfortable in gym and stuff. And I was like, well, you're not willing to use your cane. Like, try using your cane, and that's going to help other people know what the situation is and be able to navigate better and all that stuff. And she started like doing it, and she's like, that changed everything. I'm so much more comfortable. I actually just get to push myself in my workouts. This is just so much better. So yeah, it's great how that cane can make such a big difference.
Yeah.
Was her name Sydney? All right.
Oh God.
I was gonna say it's just as much for other people who see you and know that you're not just high or drunk walking around stump.
Yeah, absolutely. I think my first year back home, people probably thought I got a DUI, and that's why people had to drive me around all my jobs after that.
Yeah. I was gonna say you bring up a huge point of, for most people, first getting in the gym is extremely intimidating, right?
For
Of
anybody.
like all these new machines, and then you got your locals in there, and you're like, dude, I don't know how to use any of these. I'm afraid to ask somebody, and then pile on, I'm visually impaired, is like a whole other level. So
Yeah, I
what would
think
you
it can
say
just be so
to
rewarding for people,
somebody
though.
new, blind?
Yeah. Well, we created a gym acclimation program that's free on our website where people can go to our homepage and access that. And it kind of stair steps you through these 6 different workouts that slowly progress you through a bit more of a logical way to approach getting used to the gym within 3 weeks. Like day 1, figure out where the bathrooms are and know how to O&M there. Like a lot of people will be like, it's time, and have no clue where any of the important stuff like that is. So it's like these independence building tasks built in with the workout. So then you're able to try different movements. You're encouraged to try different like cardio machines, and then also start memorizing the layout bit by bit instead of being overwhelmed with all the craziness that can be in a gym.
Yeah. Sorry, it broke up a little bit. Can you repeat that? The part of the machines and everything?
Yeah, so people are encouraged in that free gym acclimation program to try different machines, whether it be cardio machines or different types of squats, different rep ranges, things like that.
And breaking it down in an accessible way. So
Exactly.
we should also say O&M, for those who don't know, is orientation and mobility. So using the weight cane. But.
Yes. And this brings me to my question. What is your most embarrassing gym moment being blind?
What a good question. I'm sure there's probably some that I have blocked out. So recently, me and my wife were using a safety squat bar, where it's got like the big pads and it's got like that camber to it, so it's a little more lopsided, and you have to like really load it evenly. You can't have like 2 plates on one side and zero on the other, like you can with a normal barbell, or it will flip. And I had adjusted like my side and she hadn't adjusted her side yet, and I didn't know that, and I didn't double check like I should have. And I pick up the bar, and all of a sudden it's just like falling off my shoulders, off to the left, and we hadn't put clips on it because we were just kind of going back and forth, and it was still a warm up, and it just exploded weights everywhere. And there was a whole giant workout class there, like 30 extra people right next to that squat rack, who witnessed the whole thing. And I was like, gosh darn it, and just picked up weights and just like acted like nothing happened, just like let's pick this up, and I gotta hurry up and get to my set and like move past this really quick. But yeah, definitely blushed on that one recently.
Oh man,
That's funny.
yeah. Just the other day, I was in the gym. I'm like a firecracker. I'll run in the gym and not care, and I'll like trip over people's bars and do the tuck and roll and stuff. I'm like really bad, but my gym, you can like. It's a CrossFit gym, and certain hours of the day you can use this app to like unlock the door and go work out by yourself, if no one's there. And I go in there, and one of the workouts is box jumps. And I go over to where the boxes are, and I take a box and I start walking, and no one else is there. But if you watch the security footage, I'm walking. All of a sudden, I smack my shins so hard, dude, into a box. Like a box was already set up. So now I'm walking back to my spot.
Yeah.
But I'm walking on the opposite side of the like gym now. Like opposite. Yeah, going the other way.
Of the room?
Yeah, of the room on that level. And I'm walking, and then I'm like, oh, I'm good now. And I just start going a little faster because the box is getting heavy. Bang, shin into another box.
Oh, you
dude.
had the box in your hands
Yeah,
too?
and then there's these boxes, and then by the third one, dude, if you watch the footage, I have this box, and I'm like, dude, there's gotta be no more now, and I keep walking, and my shins go into this box that's set up, and I roll over the box with a box, dude. And it just, it was mad. I thought I broke the box. Like
so you hit multiple boxes in a row.
Dude, so I didn't realize there was 3 set up on my way from where I was to
you
get
hit
a box.
all 3?
And I missed them all on the way to get the box and hit all 3 of them on the way back.
I mean, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times, I'm an idiot.
You shouldn't be in the gym.
Well, that's the thing. That's like what I always say. And that always gets like whenever I'm speaking at conferences and stuff, they're like, what are the biggest obstacles in the gym? Like, people are usually the problem because there's just people leaving junk out random places. I had a girl like lie down on people love treating turf like it's a meadow, where they're just like, this is grass. I'm just going to lie all over the place and throw my junk here. And it's like, that's for movement. Like a football turf, like where you're supposed to run or do sled pushes or something. No, people are just like, I'm gonna plop down. There was a girl who was like doing dumbbell floor presses or something the other day, and I was using my cane and sweeping, and I grabbed the edge of the turf to make sure I'm walking in a straight line and getting the deadlift platforms, and she just flopped right there and start with dumbbells over her face and like almost got destroyed. And luckily, I detected the movement in what's left of my peripherals because I was keeping my head up, and I was like, that could have been so bad.
Yeah, it's scary.
Well, and I think that deters a lot of people with visual impairments. So they're just like, oh, I'm going to get hurt or I'm going to hurt somebody. And it's just like, you can, like, everybody does dumb stuff at the gym. People get randomly hurt, all that stuff. But as long as you're like easing in and not, running into double digit boxes, I think you're doing pretty good.
Yeah, as long as you're not Anthony No Cane just walking with a box.
Dude. Well, they turned the lights off and moved around the furniture on me. Dude, I'll be straight up honest.
Wait, hang on.
What?
So you have to do the lights turn on by themselves? Do you know?
No, you have to turn them on.
So has anyone
times?
ever come in and been like, "Are you working out in the dark?"
3 times a week, dude. And the best part is, like, I don't put music on the thing. So I'm just in there. It's dark and quiet, and you just hear me going.
That's hilarious.
You just hear my heavy breathing. It's so funny. But yeah, people come in and they're like, "Do you know the lights are off?" I was like, honestly, I didn't, because there's windows from like the garage. But
Yeah.
So you're just in the darkness,
dude,
like
I'll give
screaming
you.
CrossFit workout girl names, just like Isabel, and just dropping stuff.
Yeah, I'm like Annie with a twist. I'm like, this is a chipper. Um, but I'll tell you straight up, I won't. I'm pretty sure I won't go to a new gym unless I have someone with me or I have set up with like the owner of the gym or I've been in contact with someone at the gym to like help me out. Gyms are terrifying, dude, especially going to a new gym.
Yeah,
blind.
it's daunting, and I have to do that quite a bit with my work, but it also does give you an opportunity to meet a lot of like super nice people. So you can have the aspects that are really annoying and scary and like where the heck is everything, but more than likely you're gonna like have your day brightened by a random person who's just like, hey, do you need help, or like, oh, what are you
Right.
looking for, anything like that.
Exactly.
I was even like looking for a barbell because a bunch of them were taken at the gym today, and a girl from a different rack was like, hey, we're not using this one, you're looking for a bar? I was like, oh yes, please. He's like, she put it in my rack and everything, and I was like, oh, thank you. So yeah, I think it gives people the opportunity to just show how kind they can be as well.
That's true. I guess I let my insecurity too of one of my main insecurities for that is I don't want to take away from someone else's workout time. You know, like I don't want to throw off their rhythm. I don't and I got to get over that. It's the same thing at skate parks in the beginning when I was like afraid to skate at a new park cuz I didn't want to like I need to go feel the ramp out before I do something. So like taking away from people's time, but after time you just get with repetition with anything it gets more comfortable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you just realize, yeah, like you said, it's just like, oh, people are a lot
They are
nicer than
kind,
we
yeah.
give them.
People are waiting for a chance to
Credit
help
for.
people, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah,
most
you're
people
always
at the
gonna meet
gym.
those
They're just
randoms, but
they're just trying to get better too. So a lot of times it's just
yeah.
they're looking for that opportunity. And if it's, so obvious because you have a cane and you're clearly lost or looking for something, it gives people a good window to do that. And I don't know, I was in Vegas recently. I
Right.
went to Flex Lewis's gym late at night because I was doing strength coaching for a beat
Weird.
baseball team. And I was like, I'm in Vegas, I'm going to go to one of these well-known gyms. So I went there and there was a guy like, oh, hey, do you need help looking for anything? I was like, no, I'm good. I'm just kind of feeling these machines and exploring and just having fun with whatever cool machines there are. And it wound up turning into him feeling inspired and talking through his stuff, and it turned into like he's like, I'm sorry, I kind of stopped your workout. And I was like, no, you're getting some stuff off your chest here, and almost turned into like therapy and motivation for him. So yeah, you can
Yeah,
accidentally have
That's
a really
awesome.
positive experience with somebody else too, just by being present.
right.
So do you train different teams and stuff?
Yeah, I'm trying to pick up some more because that's more my specialty is a strength coach, and then also the accessibility for blindness. So it's a
Right.
pretty small niche, so pretty unique in that space. Yeah, there's a team called the Gateway Archers. I'm actually flying out there tomorrow morning to Indianapolis for a big beat baseball tournament.
So
Cool.
are you going to be training them or like they're going to be lifting during the tournament, like during the
So my role
weekend?
at the tournament is more to make sure people are warming up appropriately. If they have any fatigue
Okay.
issues, we solve that. And then a lot of this one is we're testing out some of the like recovery methods that are gonna be really helpful for those really long days. So we're applying more sports science than there's ever been in the sport.
Cool. What are we doing? We're doing some ice baths, sauna.
We're not gonna have access to too much. A lot of the stuff is gonna be like dialed in nutrition. And then
Yeah,
even
gotcha.
like intra tournament
Nutrition
nutrition.
stretching.
You have like teams starving all day and then they wonder by the third game why they're so tired and dead on their feet. And then
Yeah.
a big one is gonna be sleep quality as well. If people are all in these big Airbnbs
Yeah.
and somebody cranks it to like 75 degrees and then most people can't sleep very well because they're too warm but don't want to say anything. So we're going to be working on some of the more minutia of the basics and getting people to do things
The
properly.
environment.
Mm.
Yes. I like it, dude.
So what's the deal? The morning of simple carbs, simple sugars?
Yeah, we're gonna have them get some good protein in their bellies for the satiation, but not stuff themselves too much. A big issue I've noticed, especially when you travel and you're just like, I'm gonna have some pizza or whatever. There's these really fatty things that kind of bog you down, especially once we hit like our 30s,
Mm-hmm.
you start waking up the next morning and you're just like, okay, I feel that meal. I do not feel 100%.
It's
So we're just
swollen.
gonna work on
Yeah.
some cleaner foods, and then we got hydration packs. I'm gonna do some fun, top secret stuff with ice packs in order to pull body heat in order to alleviate fatigue quickly in the field. And then also like rice cakes, things like that, in order to make sure that we're having some complex carbohydrates to kind of keep blood sugar levels a little bit more even. There's a big issue. I mean, I'm giving all the secrets away right here, but whatever. Where they'll go hungry for like 6 hours and then have like a lunch that isn't necessarily the healthiest thing, and it'll spike their blood sugar, and then their insulin will come up, and then everybody will get really groggy and perform really poorly
Yeah,
for
you
like
just
the third
crash.
game
Yeah.
of the day. So we're gonna do some things in order to kind of even that stuff out.
Right.
Man, I'm like, yeah, I mean, I feel that now more than ever. It's the carbs. I went gluten free for this year. That was my New Year's
Good for you.
resolution. And like, what a difference, dude. When it comes to like, if I'm on tour and I'm skating 5 days in a row, by day 2, I'm feeling it. 3, I'm really tired. 4, and that's like when you're, skaters, at the end of the night, we'll go eat like a big bowl of pasta or something. It's just like, dude, my joints and everything, all these inflammatory foods, and like for me, the gluten thing has been a huge, huge thing. No bread, no pasta is like,
Also,
what
American
a game
gluten's
changer
garbage.
when it comes to like, multiple days in a row, like you said, these tournaments, like, yeah, it should help.
Yeah, it can really wear on them. I think the
Cool.
World Series is like 5 days. So if you make it to the championship game of the World Series, it's your 5th day. You have to be
Yeah.
durable. You have to have enough muscle to be able to take the beating and make sure you can still hit hard, run fast. And again, like you said, with inflammation, that's huge. Like being systemically inflamed, you're just going to be miserable. So we want these guys to be able to do a really good job. So that's been one of my fun side hustles with Kane and Abel, or like kind of the offshoots from this year.
Yeah, that is rad.
I'm also getting really excited.
That's
We get to
fun.
work with a
It's
lot of
fun
youth,
too.
which is super
Travel
fun too.
Yep.
Yeah, like dancing too. The travel is sweet, and that's like you're doing exactly what you're, wanting to
You want to do, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, you guys got Airbnb. You're gonna have a tub, dude. Get the ice baths going.
Yeah. What's your take on ice bath?
It can be used acutely really well. I mean, it's meant to pull down inflammation systemically. So if you're like trying to do workouts and then use an ice bath, then you're really blunting the hypertrophic effects. You're not able to build muscle nearly as well, because that inflammation is a signal that stuff needs repaired. And we break down our muscles to then build them back better. But if all of a sudden that signal's gone, then we don't get to repair from that. So it can be used acutely really well. I'll do it during like deload weeks before a big competition in order to kind of pull down that systemic inflammation on purpose, and then kind of let my nervous system recover a little bit easier. I think the big issue with a lot of ice baths is especially in like the strongman space, there's guys who will do cold and hot treatments, but they're also on a ton of PEDs that will make them build muscle anyway. So like the whole ice issue is kind of circumvented by more testosterone. And then the whole like guy who invented rice, the rest ice compression elevation, he has since recanted and admitted he was just trying to fill out a textbook, and that icing isn't necessary. He just kind of made it up. And they've done studies where it'll limit your body's ability to heal.
With trauma.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good. You're good. Yeah, he's since gone back on that and just been like, yeah, I was really just trying to pad out a textbook. And they've done studies on that now, and it limits blood flow to an area, therefore you can't really heal and all that stuff. So there's just better active ways to be able to heal up. Yeah.
I'll tell you though, I've been like painfully sore, like from where I was training for a judo competition. And before leaving on the plane, I was like, it was painful. I was like, there's no way I could fight with how sore I am. And I went and did a 38-degree ice bath for 5 minutes, and I was healed.
Exactly. So you were like too inflamed
better.
systemically, and so like you needed something in the short term. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Because my arms wouldn't even straighten, like that where your elbow is, the inside part. It felt like it was torn.
And now, is that from having to use so much grip with judo and stuff, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
See, you would do fine in a
The
grip
grip
competition.
is everything. Yeah, I've been told since I was like 17, I have the heaviest hands ever. Like
Mhm.
from wrestling, my coach had to stop going with me because he said he had to take like 4 Advil in the morning from his neck. Because being blind, once I grabbed you, I had to stay a
Yeah,
hold of you in
yeah.
wrestling, and it was all in my grip strength.
I don't know.
I think it's something to the blind, dude.
It is. I
Because
think
when I did jujitsu for the 1 year, I was like, my grip was
exactly.
no one could break my grip. That's like the
you-
one thing I
you-
had.
You can't lose. That's your eyes. Your
Yeah.
grip is your eyes, dude.
Yeah.
See, so I'm not the only one who obsesses about grip. I'm huge on that too. And it's just like if your wrists and your forearms and your hands are weak, you're gonna get like tired using your cane. Your O&M's gonna be off. You're not gonna be able to be as independent. So it's like we can't have that. So you just gotta get a crazy strong grip.
I think it comes from using. I used to have to use a Perkins Braille writer when I was a kid. Like no, listen to this.
You do farmers walks
Dude,
every day.
day.
Yeah.
Every day I had to type on that thing though, and typing on those are hard, dude. And like I was writing essays on that thing,
It all
and
adds
then
up.
I had to carry it from class to class. And dude, my forearms are jacked.
You ever felt the Perkins
No.
Brailer?
It's probably like 10 pounds.
It's like a big metal thing. It's huge and heavy.
I need to start
Yeah,
writing
it's
some
huge.
novels
It's a
for my
big metal
training with that thing, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, it's But did you know this? That if you grip, now I'm giving away secrets. If you grip with your middle finger down to your pinky and leave your pointer and thumb free and squeeze those, you won't tire your forearms out as bad.
That makes sense.
Because in judo you have to grip the whole time. So like your arms will
Uh-huh.
burn out if you're squeezing as hard as you can with your pointer finger and your thumb. But if you switch that like tension to your body, those last 3 fingers, it does something. I don't know why.
I'm gonna have to mess with that. Figure out how to do that on like a cable rope setup or something. Like isolate that and like mess with building up that fatigue too. That'd be cool.
Right, because it's funny because sorry.
No,
go ahead.
you go.
I was just gonna say it's funny because they tell you on like big lifts with like deadlifting and cleans and stuff, you want your pointer and thumb connected like that, like the OK symbol
Yeah.
almost, like they're over each other.
Yeah, and there's like hook
So
grip
it's
and stuff like that
interesting.
to get fancy with it. But yeah, then there's these different athletic events like judo where you have to maintain your grip and figure out ways to have the endurance and not just be really strong for 5 seconds. So that's a whole other cool challenge. That's awesome.
You ever do hangs, like finger hangs?
I did the cliffhanger challenge yesterday where you hang single arm from a pull-up bar holding a weight in your other hand. Yeah.
Dang, you're 255.
What
dude.
weight?
I had 155 pounds in my other hand, so it was like a little over 400 dangling there.
Wait, so that's 3, 4,
Yep.
10?
Yep.
Total?
And how long did
It
you
was
do
5
it?
seconds per side.
How many rounds?
Just the one. It was just kind of walked into the gym and decided to try it yesterday before the upper body workout, and I was good after that.
All right, tell me this. This is when I was 165. I'm probably 185, 182 right now. I'm getting back into shape. But when I was 165, best shape of my life, I was benching 225 for like 3 reps. How's that?
I can't remember the stat. It's like a single digit percentage. It's like 5% of people who consistently go to the gym can even bench 225 for one. So like you're already in rarefied air. Yeah.
Oh shit! I don't bench either. That's not like my thing. I
Same.
never do. But I was
Same, but
curious.
then you're like, oh, I'm doing okay still because I just got like I think all of us got some decently high standards for ourselves and really push. I mean, clearly you guys with your crazy judos and skateboarding, so you're not satisfied.
Definitely never satisfied.
Mhm.
I don't think.
My upper body is weak, dude.
Yeah, no, I've been doing. I'm getting my muscle ups back, dude. I'm trying to get back to my
A ring or
muscle
bar?
up.
Nice.
Get out of here, dude. I'm not. I'm in the
Oh,
minors.
I'm a rings
All
guy.
right,
I'm better
man?
on the rings than I am on the bars. I don't know why.
No, I know that's the rings are harder.
I think
though.
they're easier. Although I have scoliosis, so like I'm all crooked anyway. So I think
Oh,
I'm able
really?
to just like play those asymmetries a little bit differently on the rings. And I also had like rings that I made out of like toilet bowl ring fixtures and duct tape and hung them off of chains in our barn rafters back home. So I had a lot of time on the rings just trying to get better on that until eventually it kicked in. So
Sick. Yeah, we used to do the stuff like we used to like squat when I was in high school for strength training for wrestling. I worked out with this guy. We used to like squat picnic tables. We used to do stuff with like half-filled kegs. We would do like the tire stuff, the sledgehammers. I would do pull-ups with like just holding on to
yeah,
rags, you know?
you need to look into that strongman contest in New Jersey.
Dude, I don't know, man.
We'll
I'm
talk.
like a
We'll
I'm a
talk.
dud.
You clearly have the
We'll see.
background to be able to get used to some of this stuff.
Yeah, it'd be fun to see
Yeah,
where I'm at. I think
Yeah,
that would be fun to
absolutely.
see.
I'll enter it with you.
Yeah, let's do it, dude. 4 bad
So
eyes.
at least you won't get
Oh,
lost.
you guys should. I can hook you up with Vaccio and, be able to talk top with him.
Dude, hook me up with Vaccio.
Vaccio.
Oh,
Like,
dude.
I'm in already.
Vaccio,
yeah.
he lives
involved,
in
dude.
Ohio, and okay, so it was, I competed in nationals once back in 2019. It was like the most people in one strongman competition at that point ever. Hundreds of people in the Arnold Convention Center in Columbus, Ohio. And I had already talked to Vaccio through emails and everything. And he was managing the whole competition, putting it all together. He's like, yeah, dude, at the stress of that, I almost ended my marriage at one point. So he put his heart and soul into this thing in order to make nationals with hundreds and hundreds of athletes work. And I was like, I gotta try it out one time. It's a cool venue, all that stuff. Like, let's give it a go. And during the giant athlete meeting where all these people are asking all kinds of ridiculous questions and stuff, and it's just like, everybody just be quiet and just do the thing tomorrow. He's stopped and he's like, all right, there are way too many people here. No one is allowed to have a coach on the floor except one person. He is visually impaired. I do not want to hear a darn thing about it. And apparently everybody was like looking around like, where's the blind guy? Oh my gosh. So I was the only person who got to have a coach. He took such good care of me and allowed that to happen. So yeah, Vaccio's the man, and he arranges a lot of strongman stuff. So he's actually kind of the biggest pusher of adaptive strongman in the US.
Cool.
Yo,
Shout out
dude.
to Vaccio.
These brands need to get in they need to strike while the iron's getting hot, dude, because I think this adaptive stuff's about to blow up. Have you seen the dude in the wheelchair? He's he's on the Paralympic team. He like does pull-ups in his wheelchair.
I don't know. I'm used to someone like the OG, like Kevin Ogar, who had a CrossFit accident and wound up in a wheelchair and still was doing crazy CrossFit stuff. I don't think I know who you'd be talking about.
What's your biggest lift? What's your most proud? What is it? A PR?
Yeah, I'm probably best at the deadlift comparatively. I've deadlifted 650 pounds. So almost had 700 the other day. We're at like a big strength conference and everything. They're just taking 50-pound jumps, and I got off the floor a couple of times. I'm getting a little stronger again. We gotta get there.
I might let you have it in the deadlift. You are the world's strongest blind man in the deadlift. I think my biggest deadlift was like the last time I maxed a deadlift was in high school. It was like 330.
Hey, you just have to train up again. All it takes is attention, especially with like the athleticism that you guys have.
I'm scared to go heavy now. Ever since I had ACL surgery like a year ago, and I'm scared to go heavy with anything.
More of the reason.
Well, yeah. What helps stabilize that ACL and like the knee from coming into a weird position, since it's just a hinge joint, the feet have to take care of it, and then the glutes have to take care of it, especially like the glute medius. So the better hip musculature you have, I can say words, the better off your knee is going to be. So honestly, that'll help.
My hips don't lie. My hips don't lie. But how the hell do you work out your feet?
I just put up a fun little video about that actually. You can flex your feet and do short foot exercises where you actually flex that arch, and then
a lot of dorsiflexion.
Dorsiflexion and plantar flexion, and then you can move in a bunch of different directions. So like even just standing on one foot and like trying to rotate your hips open and then close and stuff will have some really profound effects on the feet. Yeah. We actually have a couple of free programs that I've made for, again, more people having to focus on balance with visual impairment. We have two full workouts. There's one called Training Wheels and one called One Step Ahead, where it's a full foot strength and balance walkthrough program for people. And then a video on our YouTube channel that helps people understand why that stuff is so important, even if you have a visual impairment.
I bet that'd help with skateboarding.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm checking that one out for sure.
I can't wait to check this stuff out, man. It's really awesome you're doing all that.
All right, we gotta hang on. We gotta check in. You said you were a nerd growing up, still are.
I try.
Proud.
I got a Superman statue sitting right here, so I mean, I try.
Nice. And you said you read a lot of books.
I try. I feel like this is a setup though. I don't want to come up talk too braggadocious here.
And you said you're Harry Potter.
Yeah,
fan?
they're all sitting on the bookshelf right there from the old days.
Which means you didn't just watch the movies.
No. Although, okay, in that podcast, you're talking about, you're just like, yeah, the guy who played Draco Malfoy. I was literally yesterday listening to that one and unloading the dishwasher. And I was like, Tom Felton. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. You didn't hit me back this time.
He didn't hit him back. He shot his shot and he left him unread.
Bro, dude.
Man, I mean, he got rejected by, he didn't actually get to play Harry. So, he already got his comeuppance like this. Yeah.
I didn't know
this
that.
Some inside baseball.
Whoa.
Dude, what else you got over there, Bucko?
we try to be versatile, but where's this this book question going? I'm scared.
I was just making sure you read the books and you weren't just watching.
No. So I was given the book by my aunt from Indiana, the very first one, and I got 50 pages in. I don't know if you guys remember how boring the first 50 pages of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone are. It's the most monotonous junk where when you look back, you're just like, oh, those were wizards doing weird junk, and eventually magic comes in. But the first 50 pages, you're just like, why are we just bored in the suburbs of like Britain right now? What the heck is happening? So I quit until we had that accelerated reading program. And they're like, hey, you need a bunch of points. And I've been busy reading like all the biographies, Abraham Lincoln, Ty Cobb, like everything possible. And I didn't get points for any of that. But that's where I was directed. And I was like, oh, shoot, it's almost the end of the semester. I need a bunch of points. They're like, the Harry Potter books have a ton of points. And I was like, already 50 pages in, let's go. And I got hooked. So, that's your...
I've never been so hooked into a book series ever.
Man, yeah.
That guy used to read me to sleep, dude.
I just reread them all because I'm an idiot and I heard
you really...
I thought the series was coming out
so mad
within the last month, but they're not even done
filming,
getting all the actors. It's not coming out until next year.
Yeah, do you know about this? They're doing a Harry Potter show.
Oh yeah, I'm super excited. I had brought up to my wife like a week ago. I was like, we need to start a new book series while we're in the car going to the gym and all this stuff. I was like, what about Harry Potter? I thought the show was coming way sooner too. That's a shame.
Yeah, next year. Something they're saying. Yeah.
Well, we need to get some cameos.
But I just reread them all again. But dude, you got to get James Fry. Is his name? He's the best.
James Fry, yeah.
If you're using Bard Mobile, do you know what that is? Free books through the National Library for the Blind.
I need to check that out then. No, I didn't know.
Yeah, you can download free audio.
You can sign up for it. Free audiobooks. There's an app called Bard Mobile.
BARD, right?
BARD, yeah. But yeah, they got all Harry Potters on there. You can listen to them.
Okay.
You got to be careful because they have two readers. One of them sucks.
Yeah, one of them is not James Fry.
But one of them is
James Fry.
And that guy, James Fry, like won an award for how he read those books.
I think it's Fry. There's two good narrators. One of them is James Fry. There's another one, but
the one does Hagrid and stuff.
Yes.
Anyway,
all right,
dude, it's been such a pleasure to talk to you, Evan.
Likewise.
Cain Enable Fitness, CainEnable.com.
Just Cain Able.
Cain Enable Fitness. Yep.
DANEABLE.
Check them out and hit them up. Go look at those courses. I can't wait to check them out. Yeah, thanks for giving us all that real amazing knowledge.
Yeah, we got some insider tips, dude, on recovery, nutrition, environment.
Absolutely. It's all I do. Again, that's where I pointed a lot of the nerdy energy. So lifting and helping people perform at their best is all I do now. And I know that you guys are some super high performers, but I want, the rest of the blind community, even if they don't want to do sports and stuff, just to be able to live the fittest and happiest, healthiest lives that they can. Because when you just like randomly at like a national park, when you're driving through on a road trip or something like that, and you want to go for a hike, like it's just so liberating to be able to just do the activities of daily living without having to think.
Yes.
Yes,
Not
and
being-
then getting the
yes.
mental benefits
Mhm.
as well and
Oh,
everything.
I love that you found that and you want to share that with everyone and make it accessible because everyone should live at least in a healthy enough lifestyle to where, like you said, you can do those hikes on the side of the road or whatever it
Yeah.
might be.
Well, and
You know.
that reminds me of a story. I have a remote client where she's just been doing at-home workouts, and she used to be really guilty because her and her family would go on trips and stuff, and then she would have to like sit on a bench and like just chill out every couple of hours, and she really
Right.
felt guilty, like she was taking away from their experience, and it really sucked from like how she could really enjoy those experiences as well. And then she recently had a trip to New Orleans, and she's like, I was able to go the full 8 hour day and not stop and rest. And we just had such a better time. I didn't feel guilty.
That's
And like
amazing.
just be able to do that is huge for people.
Dude,
Yeah.
yes.
That's awesome.
Dude, that's sick. Well, we wish you all the luck. I'll be following you.
Yeah, maybe I'll see
In
you
Dallas.
at the contest.
Maybe Anthony will see you in
Yeah.
Jersey.
I'll be in my singlet.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to
You
stay
gonna
in touch.
stay
If
true to the
I'll have
singlet?
to hook you guys up with Baccio or get you guys some whatever information you
Yeah,
need.
Baccio.
Yep,
Yo.
that legend. Yeah, whatever you guys need from me,
Sweet.
just let me know.
Of course, same here, man.
Dude,
Thanks for listening, everyone.
World's
Please
strongest
like and
blind man.
subscribe. And as always,
keep pushing and
one love.
sick,
Yeah,
dude.
that
Cool.
was awesome.
Keep pushing and one love from Four Bad Eyes.